Boatworks today is sponsored by Total Boat and Alexial Yacht Coatings, as well as supported by the generosity from the beautiful folks over on Patreon. Thank you so much. All right. So welcome back to the shop, everybody. Hope you're all having a very safe and enjoyable 4th of July weekend. Now, in this video, I want to go over why it's important that you fully cure the materials that you're working with. And when I say that, I'm specifically referring to like polyester or vinyl ester based materials. Not so much epoxy. Epoxy takes care of itself. You just give it a little bit more time and it will fully cure, but that's not necessarily the situation when you're talking about poly or vinyl-based materials. Now, when we're talking about this process, there's a lot going on that you're not able to physically see. It's all happening on a chemical level. And it's during this process that things like chemical resistance are being developed, UV resistance, so I'm trying to come up with a better way to put this, but it's stiffness and it's hardness, right? Work with me on this, keep your mind out of the gutter. But it's during this process that all of these properties are being developed. Now, there's a few different ways that you can go about accomplishing this. Some work better in certain situations than others, and that's what we're going to be focusing on today. Now, as I mentioned, during this curing process, most of everything that's going on are at the chemical level, and it's not anything that you're able to really see any kind of a difference on. However, there is one thing that at some point is always going to be involved, which you can get feedback right away on whether you're dealing with a cured surface or not, and that is when you actually go and try and sand it or shape it. Now, a cured surface, when you go to, let's just say you're going to wipe it down with some solvent, a cured surface, when you give it that solvent wipe, nothing is going to come up on that rag, like absolutely nothing. Same thing goes when you try and sand it. When you sand it, the powder, it's going to be, well, it's going to be just that. It's going to be a powder. It's not going to ball up on you. It's not going to load up or gum your sandpaper. It sands so much cleaner. Now, take that back to if you were trying to do those same things to an uncured surface. Solvent wiping, uncured surface, you're going to get material coming up on your rag, which is not what you want. And also the same thing when you go and try and sand it. It's going to smear, it's going to ball up, you're going to load up your sandpaper, and you're going to be swapping out, the sandpaper every 5-10 seconds. It makes the whole process very, very miserable. Now, when do you need to know, or when should you actually cure your surface, whether it's fiberglass or if it's gel coat or poly or vinyl-based materials, whatever it may happen to be. My general rule of thumb is that whenever you need to do any type of sanding or shaping, let's just say, for example, you're in the middle of doing some fiberglass layups, right? So you get 3, 4, maybe even 5 layers of fiberglass laid up, and after you've gone through that many layers, there's bound to be some little stray strands of fiberglass that are sticking up, kind of poking their heads up, so that anything that you were going to try and apply over top of it, those little strands would be inhibiting the next layer of glass to be able to lay down flat and make good surface contact. Or let's just say you're building up a process, you're doing a repair area, got really jacked up, you lay up a bunch of fiberglass. Now, okay, you've got a base that you can work with. Now we want to just kind of do some general rough shaping, right? Get some general shaping done. Now that you can cut, then after that, you can wipe it, come back and start laying up some more additional material. That's kind of the general rule. And up until that point, if you don't need to do any sanding, continue using on your laminating material so that you don't have to sand, because let's just say it all together, sanding sucks, right? Nobody enjoys it, but it's part of the process. It is what it is. So how do you actually go about curing your material? Well, there's a few different ways that you can accomplish this, but at the end of the day, the name of the game is that you're creating an air barrier over top of that surface. Now again, we're talking about poly and vinyl based materials. You need to create an air barrier over that surface. These materials, when they still have exposure to air, air is what inhibits their cure. So if you can go over top of that, seal it off somehow, then that material will be able to start fully curing and doing its thing. Now, as far as how you can actually go about doing this, well, there's 3 different ways. My preferred way is to use a gel coat that contains wax. And it will be labeled very obviously. It'll say right there, contains wax. Focus, yep. There, okay, hopefully it worked. So I think the labels on this particular product have changed a little bit, but it'll still say either contains wax or it's a finishing resin, right? The reason I like using the gel coat with wax, well, it's a few different reasons. For one, gel coat is typically it's white. So it's a contrasting color to what it is you're applying it onto. So that gives you a good visual reference, one, to let you know that you've coated this area versus in areas that you may have missed. But just as important, it gives you a visual on that you've got that material laid on thick enough. So just real quick, poly and vinyl based materials, unless there is a certain film thickness, it will not cure, whether it contains wax or not. If it doesn't have a certain film thickness, it's not going to chooch and do its thing. Now, the other added benefit of that is when you're looking at the surface, you've used your gel coat that contains wax. When it looks uniform in appearance, so it looks solid white, you're not seeing patches of the fiberglass, bare fiberglass that's beneath it kind of shining through. When you get it to the point where it's uniform in appearance, it is fully cured. Or I should say it's thick enough and it will fully cure and do its thing. So now an added benefit of using the gel coat over top of your fiberglass is, again, you have that nice gel coat film over top of everything. You'll be able to get a smoother surface faster with less sanding because you're going to be removing gel coat and not removing any fiberglass itself, which is kind of really what you want to do. Now, the one downside about taking that kind of approach is that, well, it's another product that you have to buy and that you have to carry around and store. But in my opinion, I think it's well worth it. Now, another way that you can cure your material is to use a product that's called PVA, or polyvinyl alcohol. And there's a couple different brands, but it's essentially this. In a nutshell, it's liquid plastic. This works really well in certain situations, and it will still work in other situations, although it would not be my first choice. So for example, let's just say we're doing some gel coat finishing and we need to cure off that gel coat. Well, gel coat being a smooth surface, you can apply the PVA over top of that, works great. Come time to remove it, it's going to be with a Scotch-Brite pad in some warm water. Because it is a smooth surface, it is going to be very easy to clean off and you'll get it completely removed. Now, take that same approach if you're trying to use PVA and you're going to be curing some fiberglass. Now, fiberglass has texture, right? Regardless of what it is, whether it's chop strand or 1708, cloth, whatever it may happen to be, there is some texture in there. And when you're applying a liquid like PVA over top of textured fiberglass, it gets in all the little nooks and crannies of that texture. So come time to remove it, again, we're going to be using warm water and a Scotch-Brite pad. It's not always the easiest to try and get that stuff worked out of the texture to the point where you know that it's completely removed. So in that kind of situation, PVA would not be my first choice when you're looking to coat fiberglass, but it is 100% my first choice if you're going to be looking to coat some type of a gel coat. Now, behind door number 3 is an option that I have not covered before, and there's really no particular reason why, I haven't. And that is to essentially create or make your own finishing resin. And that's accomplished by using a material along the lines of this. Now, this is just simply a wax additive. This is one particular brand. There's several brands out there. It might be referred to in a few different ways. It could be referred to as like a surfacing agent. It could be a surface seal. It could just be called strictly a wax additive. Again, as long as it kind of contains finishing, surface, and wax, this is probably what you're looking at. Essentially all it is, it's a paraffin wax that's been dissolved in styrene. And styrene is the base component of your polyester materials. It is what makes the gel coat the viscosity that it is, right? Now, an easy way to kind of explain this is that this plus this, that does not contain wax, these two things together is the exact same thing as this that contains wax. It's that simple. Now, when we're talking about working with this wax additive, it gets added at 3% by volume. Not weight, but by volume to whatever it is you're mixing it into. But when we're talking about having to add 3% of something, I mean, that's going to be such a small amount. When we're working with ounces, that's kind of tricky. So what we need to do is we need to convert ounces into another unit of measurement that's going to be a lot more fine or a lot more accurate. And to do that, a little bit of simple math, very easy, but we're going to convert ounces into milliliters or into cc's. And the way that you do that is you take your volume of material, multiply that times 29.57, that will convert your ounces into cc's or milliliters, same thing. And then at that point, now we can just go ahead and multiply times 0.03. That will give us the amount of cc's of wax additive that we need to add into our laminating material to turn it into a finishing. So evidently when I was drawing off this wax additive, I had a little bit of a dyslexic moment and I pulled out more wax than what I actually needed. I believe in this example it was supposed to be 1.77 cc's. As long as you're slightly under 2, that's fine. But I think I pulled out a little bit more than that. Now with this wax additive, it is better to have more wax mixed into your resin than not enough. More wax that's in there, it's just kind of like a belt and suspenders. It's gonna cure. But if you get too much, if you were to do like 3 or 4 times the amount that you really need, then it's just, it's a little bit of extra cleanup, to remove it before you can start sanding, but it'll still chooch and do its thing, no problem. Now, coming back to our examples, this material has had a few days to do its thing, right? So there's 2 tests I want to show to kind of prove a point here. First one is going to be doing a solvent wipe, or just, like you're going to be prepping the surface for additional layup or whatever. Maybe a bird shit on there and you need to clean it up before you can go forward. I don't know, but you're going to be using a solvent cleaner, right? In this case, we're going to be using the de-wax from the surface cleaner. Now, on the uncured material, again, I've got a little bit of that solvent on a burlap rag. When I'm cleaning that surface, some of that gel coat is softening and it's coming right back up on my burlap rag. That is not what you want to see. It's going to smear, it's going to make a mess. Now, as opposed to when you do that same thing to the sample that has been fully cured with the wax additive, you can scrub that all day long and it is going to stay clean. Nothing is going to come up on that rag. Switching gears over to sanding, same kind of a thing. When you try and sand an uncured surface, as you can see here, it's going to start to ball and it's going to start to clog your sandpaper. Now come back over to the cured or the fully cured sample here. You can sand that all day long. You can sand it and polish it till it is just smooth as glass. You will always be left with a nice fine powder, and that paper is not going to load up or gum up on you. And let me tell you, if you've got a lot of sanding to do in a day, it's going to make you a very happy person not to be burning through sandpaper every 10, 15, 20 seconds. Ask me how I know. So now, in summary, before I wrap this up, when I'm going to be curing gel coat, my two options would be to either use some PVA because it's a smooth surface, or to use the wax additive and mix that into your tinted gel coat. Turn your laminating gel coat into a finishing gel coat for your final layer only. Now, if you're going to be looking to cure your fiberglass, there I prefer using gel coat because of it's a little bit thicker viscosity. You can get some film thickness over top of the fiberglass. It cuts down the amount of sanding and everything that needs to get done in order to get a smooth surface. So if you're going to be curing fiberglass, my preferred method is to use gel coat that contains wax. Whether you add it yourself or you buy it pre-mixed, doesn't matter. But if you're going to be looking to cure gel coat, being a smooth surface, PVA or mixing in some of this wax additive into your tinted gel coat, it really is the way to go. And on that note, I am going to button this one up. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you found this helpful. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you're notified whenever new videos come out. Thank you in advance. Greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to leave those down below. I will do my best to follow up with you. And as always, I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful 4th of July weekend. And I will see you in the next video.
This has been a Boatworks Today production.